Oh. I'm just laying
Perfect way to
back,
come back
chilling
to
out. I'm
it.
just waiting. I'm just waiting to chill
It's
out.
fine.
But I'm glad to be back, and hopefully these technical issues are finally getting fixed. But let's go back on the subject of the update that happened. Uh, I when I was scouting around on some of the operators that because there are some operators that lost their ACOGs, there are some operators that gained some ACOGs of some sort, but mostly it's just a lot of the operators that got the 1.5, and that 1.5 scope is just so perfect for just those in between fights where you're not tunnel visioned in a 2.5 scope at close range, for those gunfights.
Yeah, and some of them even got the 2.5, which is a lot of zoom for a defender, which is going to allow a lot of spawn peaks now too. But with the new rework of Chalet, they kind of remove some of those spawn peaks. So I'm interested to see how players begin to adapt to these new maps, especially with New House. But it looks like we're finally back into the match with round 3 of Border.
About it is great to finally watch the match being played again. We get some technical issues getting fixed, but looks like they're gonna go back to events. As we were just talking about earlier, that they lost the round to a rush strat from the attackers, but maybe they're able to just put more control above and through the holes in the floor and just keep it safe for the defenders.
Yeah, and it looks like both the sides are actually going to stick with the same ops that we just saw before the rehost happened. So, curious to see if they're going to still anticipate the 6-pick with the Lion or see if they're actually going to go Jackal this time.
Luckily, with the rehost, that they have to play the same operators. I feel like that would be unfair.
I mean, at least they still
But
teased of playing Jackal. I mean, normally he's banned in ranked play because everyone hates Jackal, I guess. So it's nice to see people actually play him because he has some of the best and unique guns for an attacker.
I know I think he's an attacker that actually on one of his primaries is a PDW SMG that has 51 bullets with like no recoil whatsoever. So
Yeah, but the only problem
yeah,
is it does no damage as a 9mm. So as good as it is being able to spray and hold down without it even being an LMG and a really long reload time, it just has the issue of it doesn't have much damage on that end. But his
yeah.
C7E is very good as an assault rifle, even though it only has the 30 bullets. A lot of people don't utilize it. I feel like people should. His shotgun's terrible, but his assault rifle and sub rifle is pretty good.
Sub SMG, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
one of those things.
yeah, no, the shotgun for Jackal was very good, just for open up hatches, soft hatches, and whatnot. And
The
you
typical
can already see
shotgun
the attackers are already close up again. They might do the same thing again.
Yeah, they already opened up B window and main entrance, and we see the IQ just outside of it looking to see if maybe defenders 6-picked into a pulse or something or have traps that we didn't know about. And hopefully we'll see Danny also holding back a little bit more to get more use out of that smoke and the delay that he can create. Then we also see Wamai attempting to frisbee through the floor, and instead
and he's gonna get
he
punished
loses
for
his
it.
life for that.
Very unfortunate for the Wamai getting punished for trying to throw his frisbee through the floor, trying to get some more security around on the vent site. But so now it is going to be a 4v5, and I believe this is going to be put Boise State more on the back foot, especially now as the Customs wall has been open, and just to put more pressure on Fox's position, get some more control over the map, and cut off rotations.
Yeah, we also just saw Sherb getting droned out, so they know that at least one more member of Boise State is on the second story holding that. So that means only 2 people on site and then 1 person roaming, as Fox just now returns to site, getting tracked by that line drone with, it looked like Ash pushing through Customs right now.
Yeah, and you also see someone behind there on the red ping. It looks like he's in tellers. Looks like it's a line. Just probably put some more control there. Just playing passive, waiting for someone to cross in front of his crosshair. Maybe get a little pick. But yeah, you definitely see the smoke playing a little bit passive here because last time he got picked off so early. He wants to be able to utilize that smoke, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to set a pre-placed smoke and get some smoke canisters out there just to block off the
Doka be
push.
pinging people's phones, but if we actually look at the drones, they have 2 drones left, with the last person being Thermite, who really shouldn't be on drones in the first place. So Dalousie kind of losing out on all the vision that they had available, but then we see Danny use his last smoke that he has, which means they have no longer any delay tools. But down to the last 40 seconds, as we see Ash then turn the corner and take out Danny, and then Sherb is then taken out by IQ, but The Lion is taken out by Fox, and then Ultrasun is taken out by the Ash, but with Fox rotating around, he takes out the Ash, quickly bringing it to a 1v3 with 2 members of Dalousie on the other side of the map, and the IQ pushing Fox right now as she's taken over A, and then she is managed... Oh, that was Dogobi. But IQ came from behind anyway and still got the kill, so Dalousie really took control and just ran over Boise State, and I don't think they were ready for that.
Yeah, no, honestly, I like how the Blackbeard had the 1v3 opportunity. I saw Fox with the Jaeger. He possibly had a good opportunity. He got a good position off folks on both sides, and we already had the info from where the other teammates were. He had a good weapon for it, too, so I was hoping he could have pulled that out, but no, he got pinched from the right side of Customs, and that's what really just took him out right there.
And since Boise State just lost the first floor objective, it looks like they're going to return to that second floor armory and archives, and we're going to see, actually, this time, Dalousie just straight up showing the line. They're no longer going to 6-pick from Jackal. They're just going to be like, hey, we're playing line. We're rushing you with Blackbeard again this time. Let's see how it goes. And once again, Boise State is using that Echo, who gets a ton of value. But now they're 6-picking opposite day, going back to that Jackal. Which I'm
yeah, no, it looks like the... Yeah, probably just to get the Jaeger from roaming, because we've seen before on the first round of Armory that Jaeger roaming on the first floor by Customs, being able to put more pressure on the attackers from underneath, trying to get the charges off the wall. So that could help them finally. A good Jackal player is really able to put a roamer into a really tough spot if he's played right.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why Boise State keeps running their Womai and Jaeger when it seems that Dalousie is not using a ton of those flashbangs. It doesn't seem like Jaeger and Womai are getting a ton of value out of that. It's just more for their speed in their guns, with Womai being the only one who has the AUG on defense.
I think due to the fact that they're running the Jaeger and Womai is for the shields, because I see Fox has a shield, Womai has a shield, and I think that's it really. But if they have those shields in really keen positions from where the attackers would push, and they have all those ADSs in the Womai disc, that could really just block out all the utility trying to take out the shields and keep them in the same position. So I think that's really smart for Boise State, actually, to run both of them.
Yeah, I'm curious if Dalousie is going to be able to kind of get a counter push here, because I believe they lost this first time, but then they won first floor. So I'm curious to see if they're able to continue their current win streak and take the second floor site.
Yeah, you can see the Doc actually taking a little bit of aggressive fight here in office earlier. Maybe hopefully like before trying to get an early pick, but he will find no value from doing it. And it looks like actually
Ultrasun trying to hold first floor as well.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure that no one can get through that main entrance. As you can see, actually the main entrance through those holes, and also possibly to assist the roamer down here.
Yeah, we just saw on the screen he just got droned out from a separate drone that he saw earlier. So now he knows there's probably at least 2 people first floor, and the rest of his team now has discovered that there's 2 people second floor. So now they're just missing 1.
And it looks like the Womai actually backed off a shield and moved it back towards Armory, probably to put more pressure. But as you can see right now, they have a lot of pressure on East Take, and IQ sees that Yokai drone with the IQ scanner, and so she's going to take that out. But he's going to follow right back with elimination on the IQ. So
and then Danny's going to get mad about that Jaeger, who was never able to scout out his footprints. But then it seems that Sherb on the dock is going to fall, and then the Ash is going to fall, and then the Womai is going to fall back to back to back, making it a 3v1 Boise State versus Dalousie. Dalousie with the final one being Thermite. He still does have both drones, but he is then taken out by Fox, who is just holding his angle, where he was actually all around, so I'm surprised Thermite did not expect that.
Yeah, I think he actually did expect it, but the reaction time on the Echo, whoever on Fox that he was playing, he was doing really well with that. So I think he felt more confident in his shot than the Thermite did.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by there was no pre-fire when he knew Fox was holding that angle. He just turned it and took the fire. So I'm curious as to why, but they lost that, so they're going back to first floor where they lost. So I'm curious to see if it'll change it up a bit.
I just love seeing the accounts getting banned on top right. Like you said, hack.account has been banned by Adelaide. Oh, that's always funny to see all the funny names of cheaters and stuff. Off topic, but I thought that just made me laugh a little bit of the name. But And actually, when they go back to first floor, they're not going to go vents this time. They're going to go to customs inspections and supply. And this is actually not everyone's most favorite site to play, but it's better than bathroom at Tellers. So they didn't win vents, and so that's their only option now. Their most confident option. So they're going to have to do a heavy roam above in CC to keep control.
So I'm curious if Dalousie is going to go for the CC as they've been running with the line and heavy pushing, but now they're seeing new operators with the Buck and Zofia as they haven't run on this map yet. They've been doing the Ash Lion just rush strat. So maybe they are going for the second floor push with the Buck as he's able to just open up that entire floor.
Yeah, I think the Buck is going to be a really key player here for the attackers trying to get above and get the charges off the wall for the customs in the detention wall. Sorry, because the Kai's going to be stuck on there.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
also
gonna be
curious
important.
here about this Dokkaebi as she's been pinging people's phones, but when the phones are ringing, they're not doing a consistent push. They're just, I think, getting more information of where the members of Boise State are.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, they're not really taking advantage of the phones being pinged. And honestly, the strat that I've seen before from other teams is that there'd be times where if the floor is shootable, an IQ can actually go underneath when they pull out their phone and take shots at them, possibly. Maybe that's the strat they're trying to do, or maybe they just want to play a little bit more patient and just get the general location of their whereabouts.
I mean, playing patient has worked out for them, as we saw 2 rounds ago when we were in servers, that the last 40 seconds was when they made their move and actually won them the round. So maybe they're going for that type of play again here. We don't know. We're seeing a lot of drones fall from Dalousie, actually. 3 to be exact. So I'm curious if... Well, they're even running the mute, so the mute could also counter the Dokkaebi, which we've seen in the past. So I'm curious as to why they keep doing the Dokkaebi and IQ if Dokkaebi also let her teammate die.
Honestly, I think Dokkaebi is just a unique operators to play, just due to the fact of the whole, like you said, the whole pinging of phones, and maybe that's just what the player is more comfortable with in this type of map. This map is very frag heavy these days.
He's also the only operator with the MK14, the small marksman rifle, which is very good, especially here, as none of the other operators, I think, brought the marksman rifle. I'm pretty sure Buck has his assault rifle here.
Yeah. This is going to be a big problem for... You can see them already taking CC, but it looks like they still can't pick off the kite or just get his Artilla off the wall. So that's going to be a big issue. But, you know, you do see a pick from the Zofia taking out Fox, and Sherb actually bringing it back to a 4v4. So this is going to definitely put the favor back in Boise State's side, for sure.
Yeah, this has definitely been kind of a slow push so far, but keeping it even with the Buck in second story, not even able to see Juco on the mute, just right outside of his line of vision with the bars in the ceiling/4 just looking the other way, and he did not down him. I thought he downed him. But he brought Buck down below his 75% health marker, so I'm curious to see if he's able to just abandon the second floor strat as he's been scouted out. And now Dokkaebi's up there as well. Not even... She's pinged her phones once. I think she might have one more charge left of it. So I'm curious to see if Boise State's able to maybe rotate around second floor as we see Danny doing right now, or if they're going to kind of just hold sight and be slow.
Both the roamers need to go back and CC and take the fight back up. But actually, the Buck's going to get caught with his pants down as he looks the other way in front of Danny. And definitely spotted by another attacker, but he's going to back up and play the patient game, and he's actually going to win another gunfight off the mind games. Good for him.
Yeah, so
he has the diffuser as
secures
well.
CCTV, which was directly above the site, leaving Dokkaebi, and then Sherb then took out the other remaining member of Dalousie, leaving it all down to Dokkaebi, who's about to just get taken out by Juco. But she's able to win that firefight, again, due to that marksman rifle dealing a ton of damage, but she just runs out of time and didn't have diffuser, just left in a tough situation.
Very good for the defenders being able to retake above. They thought they had the control, but even then, when they had the control above, the attackers couldn't get the electricity off the wall. I think they should have... there was holes on the top of the wall. I think they should have just naded it from the outside, burn the ADS, and then naded it. Take it out would have been a lot more safer and probably a little bit more easier to do.
I think they also definitely got way too comfortable second floor. As you could see, as soon as he ran out of the room, Danny just took him right out. Like, he even could have gone for the melee at that point, but it was just... They didn't constantly have vision. They didn't have a drone on this watching stairs. They knew there were 2 roamers of both the Vigil and the Jaeger. I think they just got too complacent and were going too slow at that point because the Buck was overcommitting to that. Dokkaebi was up there as well. I think they just need to move a bit faster with that Lion play like they did last time, as it worked out better for them.
This is really interesting. We actually see two operators that we've seen once, if not none of, on the defending side. We have a Frost for once, Brenner. A Frost.
I mean, it was 6 picks, so they won't expect it. And then we also have Caveira, who they did see, but now they're not even using the Jackal to track her or a Lion to track her. So I'm curious to see how this plays out for both sides, as the attackers are running the exact same ops, but now we're on a different site.
This is probably, they probably went back to vents since they couldn't. Oh, a little mishap, taking some damage, but back to what I was saying. They couldn't go back to armory because they just won it earlier. They just won custom, so they have to go back to vents. And the past couple times we've seen that they've had a hard time holding it. So I think they're just, and they've seen how rush heavy they've been. So they probably just want to take advantage of that and set some traps down. As you see the frost mats actually pick back up and being put down in a better place. And possibly the Cav could get some value for their team, just getting possibly an interrogation. Sneak up on someone possibly.
Would be pretty nice, as we haven't seen that in the past at all. But if she's just going to hold customs, she could get crossfired through that window just through a couple bullets, or if she's going to rotate up top. And then same with the Frost. It seems she only put down one mat in front of that window.
She's probably spreading them in spots that maybe people won't look. Like, of course, the under the window, and then once they drone her out, they'll know where to look. But like, if you put them in corners or areas where they're not commonly placed, you're definitely going to get someone to run into them. And same with the Caveira. Like you said, we've never seen an interrogation yet from Boise State being used. If any team is smart enough to play against a Cav, that means that they always have someone nearby each other. Never go alone in a time if there's a Cav alone, because if you do that, your whole attack inside will probably be destroyed.
Yeah, and as of right now, I'm pretty sure Sherb might have just gotten droned out as he dipped on second floor, but that Buck is right next to him, flashing him out because I'm pretty sure he knew he was there. And then Sherb having to leave second floor, leaving second floor in complete control of Dalousie right now, with Caveira just chilling out in customs right now with no one near her. It seems the entire team of Dalousie is just all on second floor right now.
Yeah, they try and take that vertical control that they didn't actually do before. It's smart to take always the above control just to get the pressure onto the B vents and cut off rotations. I think the Cav right now is just waiting for a prey to come stumble along and get a free Intero. I think she's playing this super, super safe because she knows that she can do a lot of damage if she's in the right spot.
And it seems like, I mean, she wasn't 6 picked out, and I don't know if they ever drone spotted her. So she's definitely just a mystery contender, I guess, right now, with the IQ once again pushing that B window. And then Frost rotating around through customs. Danny does end up with the Caveira getting a pick. Sadly, it's not an interrogation as he's not using her pistol. But it looks like he might even do a run out onto that Zofia, who's outside of main. Frost ends up being at 30 health, it seems, from the firefight with that Zofia, who's looking at right now. But he ends up losing that with Zofia picking up the headshot onto him. Zofia down to 5 HP, maybe not even that. And it seems they finally did get a wall as well from bathroom.
This is where things get really scary, as it's 30 seconds left. They just got a wall open bathroom, like you said, Brenner, but it seems like Juco is actually going to take control back of it with the first pick. He was alone, so he's not going to get punished for it. Yeah, but now it's left in a 4v3.
Every single member of Dalousie is currently very injured. You know, Sherb on the Legion just downed the Buck, but he was then taken out by the IQ on that window. So it seems the final members of Dalousie need to make a play right now as IQ is pushing through site, looking to just end it with eliminations, but is unable to find that Caveira, as Caveira then take out the Buck, but IQ ends up finding the Caveira and winning the round for her team.
IQ doing very well to actually pull back some eliminations to gain back control of the site and putting more lineage towards their team. But it's amazing how the Boise State Broncos weren't able to actually close that out. They got a lot of picks, but they were also in a lot of weird positions. They weren't in positions to trade out each other, so it was all left to just a bunch of untraded people, untraded frags, Brenner.
Yeah, it's interesting because Dalousie seems to be like kind of stalling out in the very beginning, but once it hits less than a minute, they just start making their moves and just collapse on site. And having Danny with that Caveira not even close to site, rotating around, focusing on the downed Buck, and then just getting shot in the back by the IQ after she had just gotten a triple on the rest of his team. It was definitely just a very go situation. You know, there was no time to react. You just went, and it seems like he just got kind of kill thirsty there and went for the down Buck, couldn't interrogate him, and then was shot in the back.
Honestly, I don't think the Caveira actually knew the person was down. Maybe it looked like he was prone or something, but all the Cav saw was that there was a body and she had to shoot it. And that ended her life as well because she was distracted, like you said.
Yeah,
so
that
now we're
IQ
actually
really
on...
brought it down to the wire and won it for her team, that's for sure.
And now we're actually... We've seen this before from the last map. It was scores 3-3 and they switched sides, and we're back here again doing the same thing. So, but this time we're having the Boise State team on the attack on the second half. So
yeah, we don't even see Dalousie running that Echo that was very good on the site with Fox playing him last time. So I'm curious to see with Boise State also running a Sledge this time and also a Nomad. So these are ops that Dalousie never ran on attack. So I'm curious to see if Boise State's able to utilize their unique features versus what Dalousie was doing.
As you can see right now, there's actually 2 wall denials. I don't know if they're going to be put down yet. I can see the Kayet actually putting one on the Army wall, but the mute jammers, I'd assume, would be used for the triple wall, so they couldn't get into office. It looks like where all the Boise State members spawn, they're going to be going for an east take, an east office take, with all the nomads and putting air jabs in just to cover them. But
we also see Skies on the pulse, so he's going to pretty much have first forward control with the C4 through the floor possibly. We also see the smoke, again, for a long hold if Dalousie wants to do that. We have the Jaeger ADS, but no Wamai this time. And then we also have the Mute and the Cade for anti-breaching.
You see, I like this setup a lot on the defense, but I'm kind of nervous just because of the fact that, like, Echo's in play, but he's not in this rank. They're not using him. They're not taking advantage of him. And I think it would help so much more if possibly they had an Echo with the pulse underneath, giving him more and more info as a backup, you know, always be safe, because remember, this is if Dalousie loses his map, this is Boise State's win. They're out. So
and we also just saw Fox attempted to drone through that window and was immediately taken out, which is definitely going to slow his push there. And also, if Dalousie played that Echo, they know from previous map that Danny plays the IQ, they were playing the IQ against the Echo. They know that's a strat, and maybe they just don't feel comfortable with the operator, as we haven't seen them play Echo in the past at all. So I'm curious to see if they're just going to go for more of a hard hold with the smoke, or they're going to go for more of a push with the pulse. It's definitely just been a slow pulse push right now, as it's a minute 30, and Boise State doesn't have a single member inside.
Honestly, excuse me, pardon me. The air jab actually went off and put someone off the pressure, and that was actually pretty smart to take office control a little easier. And now the plant's actually going down, but the smoke's actually going to deny it. And he's actually going to get picked off from underneath. The pulse finally coming into play. The IQ hasn't pulled him off yet, so if they don't do that, the pressure of there is just not going to be possible for the attackers to take.
Yeah, Nomad's also out of air jab, so she's no longer able to secure an area to go for the plant. And they know the smoke is there. They only took out the mute, so they could have had that confusion. But we do see Danny get the pick onto the pulse, who was first floor. So this could have opened up the possibility for a plant, but we do see Danny then taken out by that Jaeger, and we see Ultrasen go for the plant as Smoke is no longer watching it, but he does end up smoking, but the plant was happened. He did it too late. And then Fox is able to pick him off as well, so that he can't even use his last smoke grenade as well.
Yeah, so this is post-plant situation now, is a 3v2 with the defenders on the back foot here, but actually making that a 2v2 as the Kayet actually has to get aggressive. Both of them must get aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a run out here onto the office, on the office balcony, just to take out the pressure that's being watched on the diffuser. Because they're gonna have to take these gunfights.
Hand here just because they have the advantage of they just have to hide and protect the diffuser. Sledge is right there. He can easily just walk up for the defuse and defend it. You know, they both have to push the Nomad, who's just hiding behind on top of that bridge. She does take out the Kayet, who is defusing, but then Jaeger takes out the Nomad, but diffuser still goes. They run out of time, and Boise State takes the round.
Good recovery on Boise State's side, being able to get that pulse to get the pressure off, and honestly lucky enough that the smoke, like, first of all, like you said, he was late on his smoke, And also, second, even if if he used the same trajectory like he did that time, he missed completely, so it didn't reach him. He was able to get a plant down like fully safe.
And even if he did get it off, he was still immediately then taken out by Fox on that Nomad. So maybe he would have done, if he had done it earlier, something different would have happened, but it is what it is, and sadly, they lost that round. But now we see them going into the Archives and Armory again. So I'm curious to see if they're going to change anything or just stick with what they got.
It looks like they're running the same setup here. Maybe a 6-pick possible. Maybe that. I'm thinking possibly that the plan could have worked to just little incidents happen, but we're actually going to see a 6-pick from the IQ to a Nook, which is, we've seen this once before, Renner, right?
Mm-hmm. Way back when on Villa, I believe, when we also had a Blitz, and it was an interesting round because no one plays Blitz. So I'm curious to see if Boise State's just going to be like, all right, go have your fun, or if he's trying to try to actually get value as he did last round onto that pulse. But I think it also helped because he was IQ, so he could see the pulse and where he was. And Pulse also just didn't expect Danny at that time, so he was just on the back foot the entire time. And so I'm curious to see if they're going to go for a different defense here, as the first one didn't work, and maybe try to get more on Smoke's game simply because he kind of let that down there with the diffuser.
Yeah, I'm seeing with the Nook, like, I think the possibility for a Nook is, first of all, just to be sneaky and catch someone off guard, maybe do something that they won't expect, but also the frag grenades. The frag grenades, she could possibly go underneath and just frag people from just underneath, just timing it perfectly, maybe on people in certain positions when they're trying to push east. It could help the Boise State team to, to take out the positions and take the pressure off.
Yeah, especially because if she's nading even through the floor, the Jaeger won't be able to get that because it's underneath it.
Exactly.
So I'm curious to see if it'll play out, but at the same time, if she shows it through the floor, she won't be able to know where those ADSs are, as it's not IQ, it's knock. So this is very much going to be set up an interesting round. We see 2 members of Dalousie on first floor this time, not just the Pulse. And I think only 1 or 2 members is even on site. So I'm curious if the Smoke's going to go for the same play. We see Knock already inside. She sees that it's barricaded, so she knows that there's probably at least 1 in servers, or at least the back of servers. But she just looked right past that Jaeger, too.
Yeah, she actually just missed him. But now she's just going to be more careful. But luckily, her teammates are droning her, and she actually gets in a gunfight with the Pulse, and she can win it. And she will win it. And so that is the Pulse gone from underneath. It's no pressure from underneath anymore. So all you have to rely on now is the Smokes.
She's also down to 30 health with the Jaeger still totally full, and he knows she's down there too. And she has no ability to see where he is. So I'm curious to see how that engagement is going to go. And we're also going to see JUCO immediately open up that office wall right outside of sight. And they're also going to take hallway control, it looks, as no one on Dalousie's team is watching it.
Yeah, JUCO has to be really careful taking those peeks in the hallway. Even though Danny's over there, he should still be playing very passive, because once he's down, there's no more exothermic charges, and they can't get the office wall. It's gonna make them be in a bad position if that's the case. But I think right now they're journeying out trying to find out where any of these players are in office, and they do seem. Yep, looks like they spot one, but Nook's actually in sight. Nook's in sight.
Members of Dalousie are just very much not holding sight. They're holding outside of it, as we saw that mute immediately fall because they spot him out in the corner. Yeah, Knox right inside that office in Armory Lockers. We're going to see Fox also get another pick, and then Danny's going to get a pick onto the Cade and finish out the round. It seems they just didn't account for the Knock who just pushed right into sight. Like, members of Dalousie just didn't hear her, I guess, even though she's not the quiet one.
Well, I think it's possible, like, even though her gadget allows her to be really silent, that window in the office that she jumped into, because that's the only way she could have jumped into as silent as possible, the glass could break, and that could actually make some noise. So maybe it was the gunfire that numbed out that sound, possibly. Who knows?
Or possibly the
honestly.
defenders broke it initially, and it was just never there to begin with. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see it.
But still, it was a good job on the Nook, taking out one crucial member and just picking out the last 2, easy peasy. So, but it was also really good
for the same site, but now they're changing up their defenders, going with a Maestro now. So maybe they're trying to go for even a longer stall that didn't work for them last time because they're no longer having that pulse to roam and take first floor control.
I honestly wish we could see the scoreboard right now because if I'm not if I'm not questioned, the Maestro was the pulse last round in the past couple rounds, and
Yeah, he
he's
is.
actually been someone who's been fragging out a lot on both sides, and so I think honestly, from what I can tell, like it doesn't look like he really needs to put more pressure on the site to help his teammates because I don't think they can do it without him. That's just what it looks like right now, honestly.
Yeah,
And they see that
we
the
saw
pulse isn't
previously on
working.
Villa that the Evil Eyes were actually a huge problem for Boise State as it caused them to lose a round. So maybe they're going for the kind of the same strat of just, well, Boise State hasn't even been playing the Monty, so I don't know if it'll even get the value that they're expecting for. And we do see him trying to open up the floor with his shotgun pistol, so I'm curious to see if that'll get value. He also just got scouted out by that drone, but he immediately gets revenge on it. So that's Fox drones down. I'm curious to see what, because he has one more Evil Eye, so I'm curious as to where he puts it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Nook go for a little sneaky play again. And I feel like though the defenders will be a little bit more aware of it because it kind of messed up their whole round last round.
Yeah, and I think only one member of Dalousie is even on first floor. I don't know who it was, but my guess would be Jaeger, traditionally. Could also
I'm gonna
have
be
been
honest.
Maestro, because he opened up that hatch, but it looks like it's Jaeger, because Maestro, I think, is in office.
Jaeger's hiding in the vents. You can see on the outlines on the drone. They haven't spotted him out yet, but if they spot him out, he's stuck. And that's
We
going
do
to be an
see
easy
Sherb
frag
take
for
a little bit of
right.
pre-fire as he goes to a window, but looks like Danny's going to be able to get the headshot onto that Jaeger, giving him first floor control as they scouted out the rest, and he knows it's free. So I'm curious to see how Boise State's going to use this advantage, or if they're going to use it at all and just use Danny as he did last time to just push into that side office where the window was and take sight.
Yeah, exactly. Now the Nook has free control of underneath. She definitely has more roam. I'm sorry. She has more lenience to just take aggressive fights if she wanted to, just because of the position she's in. The rest of the members are all on site, so if possible, she could possibly do the nade tricking like I was talking about earlier, Brenner. But it looks like they're kind of pushing him to do a more aggressive take, and yeah, and see they've noticed that they want to make sure that he doesn't walk in all silently, so that's why they barricade it. So now they have sound. Now they can hear where he comes. But Juko's actually going to get two.
Yeah, Juco
Mr.
got a double
Fragmite
there, and
over
also
here.
check out their smoke, so they no longer have a stall. We saw Ash use all three of her flashbangs, including one of her grenade launcher rounds, all taken out by Jaeger's ADSs. But now it's a 2v5 here, with Skies on that Maestro, who we know has been a top fragger for their team and possibly a game changer. But Danny quickly just gets the double and wins the round for his team again.
The Kai dropped just to try to get maybe a different angle, a little safer angle from the hatch. We could maybe go on the 90, just get some vertical, some flank pressure, but it looks like it didn't work because Danny heard it and was ready for it.
Yeah, Dalousie definitely got caught out there as the two people who began to rotate, the last two, were not checking corners at all. You saw Kay just turn the stairs and go charging up. You saw Maestro just go straight for the hatch, not checking his corners at all, where he knew Knock had opened up that door previously. So I think Dalousie's just kind of fallen apart here, honestly. I mean, their defenses just haven't been that good. They've just been kind of off here against the Boise State offense.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is that the first map, as you can tell, was Boise State's map of choice, but this is Dalousie's map choice, and they're about to lose. Boise State's on match point. They haven't won a single defensive round, and this is a very defensive side map. So Boise State is really doing well in their attack. They're really understanding how to attack. They're pitching apart that gadget play, everything.
Yeah, and I think Dalousie's getting a bit more to anti-Boise. They're very drone-heavy, so we see the Mozzie come out, and we also see Legion again, but then Boise State 6-picked onto the Monty. So Legion could definitely help with the Monty play if they decide to go for the same type of attack strategy as they did last time on this site. But unless Dalousie wins this round, this will be game point and match for Boise State.
Yeah, and Dalhousie will be sent home, sadly, if they do not take it. And they actually moved to vent site because they realized that after 3 tries in Armory, it was not working for them, so they needed to change it up because if not, they're not going to have a good chance winning. But honestly, I feel like they should have left after the second loss of it. I understand that they wanted to change it, but I feel like that was still really risky just because Boise State now had a really good grasp on the site and how they played it.
Yeah, and I'm curious if this Mozzie is going to make that big of a difference for the team, as the drone game on Boise State has always been very strong. They always play their drones very conservatively, as they like to save them and drone each other forward as they push. That's been a very traditional Boise State attack strategy. So saving the drones has always been key. So I'm enjoy seeing defenders who adapt to that, especially with the Mozzie and the Mute. The Mute hasn't gotten as much value as I'm surprised to be. They haven't been using him as more defense, like traditionally they use him more for just reinforcing walls, as they don't have a single electric operator this defense time, as we've seen Cade and Bandit in the past.
Yeah, they're probably, since the defense hold is more of a vertical hold, I believe they just probably went for a mute jammer just for the wall, a little safer, and they have more utility with that. But the way they're holding right now is that what I can see is that they have 2 roamers on the first floor, and the rest of the 3 defenders are on the site. So this is might be an easy take for Boise State. They just got to pick off probably one person holding the site, and they can get full control with the Nomad and the diffuser going down.
Yeah, we do see that Monty just holding for an entrance, trying to get any intel possible. And we do see the smoke on B site right now with Fox trying to get a crossfire onto him, but he is being blocked by that shelving thing. And so, and he saw him for pixel peak second. He just saw his shoulder as he ran across. Well, he still has the elite skin on. Well, that's still available. But I'm curious if that will change anything, as Fox is just holding that angle. He's constantly peeking it. Now he knows there's an ADS there. He's going to lose all of his flashbangs to it, except for one. And I don't think that even got value, because most players just turn around as instinct. We see Danny hating on that communicator because no one wants to board the helicopter. We all know that's traditionally part of this map. So,
oh yeah,
we do see Monty actually rotate all the way around to bathroom with the thermite, because they have no electricity. It's just a free go, unless there's a mute jammer on the other side.
Yeah, there's no mute jammer. I thought they would do that, but no, I guess not.
They even went for the C4 play, but they just threw it on the ground and didn't activate it. We do see Danny take out the Jaeger. So thermite and fuse one end of the site, pushing in freely. We have the other 3 operators pushing in the other side, with Sherb taking out the smoke. We see Legion go down to 5 health. Danny finishes off Legion. Juco on the thermite gets taken out. Mozzie's just up against the Monty, which I can attest to is never fun up against. Danny just comes and shoots him in the butt.
I love the ragdoll at the end there of the Mozzie. He just fell face forward into Monty's shield. Saved me.
Boise State just very much pinched Dalousie defense and ends up taking the entire game.
Boise State will be your winners, it seems. Dalousie was not able to get a single defense. They were, like, at least on Villa. I know Villa can be a little bit more defender-side map due to all the hallways and the positions of the entrances, but Border is such a easy map for defense, and I'm just so surprised that they weren't able to just live its full potential.
Yeah, I don't think they got enough value out of the smoke. You know, on that final defense, we never saw him use a smoke grenade. And the other 2 that he used in previous rounds just didn't get as much value as he was hoping for. And I think that was a huge loss for them. Another one was at the very beginning, when they played aggressive, they won. We saw the Ashen Lion play. They took the rounds. So they know playing aggressive is a benefit to them. You can't really play aggressive defensively, but you could do spawn peeks and try to run out and just play more.
You can take a little aggressive gunfights, yeah.
And I'm just surprised Dalousie didn't play to their strengths there. They just definitely did more of a hard hold. Maybe they had just practiced it more, but it didn't seem to work for them. They were trying to go for the timeout, but Boise State just took every other angle.
Yeah, I know. It's really surprising to see Dalousie not go aggressive as we saw they went on the first map. But, you know, it's sad that's how it is, but Boise State will be the winner of that. So I guess let's talk about who do you think the MVP is of the whole thing? And tell me why, maybe.
I mean, we saw a lot of so for both teams or our team? For our team, most people would say Danny, just because he was the fragger, he got the most kills, he made a lot of the plays. We saw a lot of people like Ultrasend and send a lot of people on the Monty. He got a lot of value and information for his team as well. We saw Fox do the same thing on the Echo. And then I'm curious to see what else will be also the top 5 plays of the game, because that'll be interesting to see who gets the most, we saw the triple kill. We saw Danny get the quad and a flawless round multiple times on border. It was all around very good.
Yeah, honestly, if I had to think of a most valuable player or player of the game, whatever you want to call it, I'd actually give it to Ultraset, just because the way I saw him play on both sides, he was definitely doing really well supporting his teammates, especially supporting Danny when he needed to take those aggressive fights, and then also he actually allowed the Nook, he helped Nook get into the building with the drones. He had really good drone play, and also just a lot of gunfights he got into, he won. He was doing his role, so I think without him on the back foot there, it was just probably impossible for Danny to get those kills.
Yeah, so I believe we're going to head over to our top 5 plays of the game, and that will be the end of the streams. Thank you so much for watching. We had a ton of fun here today casting Rainbow Six, and I hope to do more now with the new season out, and it's going to be a lot more fun seeing all how people change, and thanks so much for joining me, Danny.
Thank you so much, Brenner Vera. It's glad to be up here again, and I hope to be up here one more time at least, right?
For sure, of course. Right now, or if they're gonna kind of just hold sight and be slow.
Both the roamers need to go back and CC and take the fight back up. But actually, the Buck's gonna get caught with his pants down as he looks the other way in front of Danny, and definitely spotted by another attacker. But he's gonna back up and play the patient game, and he's actually gonna win another gunfight off the mind games. Good for him.
Yeah.
A win round for Boise State. It's a 5v2. This is very unlikely. Both players are almost near half health, and they have so many angles crossed over. And yeah,
and Danny and Sherb able to get the quick 2 picks for a flawless round for Boise State, as they're clearly dominating this side of the map against Dalousie.
Yeah, they took the only 3 attack rounds they took. They got that wall open, and Sherb actually you didn't see he was already in sight. He was laying down. And now they got all the control
from the
from
push with putting Dalousie on the back foot. Now it's a 1v5, and he's quickly taken out by Ultrasen after getting the flawless round for Boise State. A quick comeback after that first round loss. So Boise State definitely picking it up.
It looks like the Zofia is actually going to push in the statue and take him out. Make this a 2v4.
Quickly, Boise State's on the back foot, but they are then going to get revenge onto that Thermite. So now it's a 3v2 as we see a quick engage through B side right now. That Zofia really taking over the south side. But we're going to see Ultrasen then turn around and get that Nomad. We saw Ash use all 3 of her flashbangs, including one of her grenade launcher rounds, all taken out by Jaeger's ADSs. But now it's a 2v5 here, with Skies on that Maestro, who we know has been a top fragger for their team and possibly a game changer. But Danny quickly just gets the double and wins the round for his team again.